Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to another Pokemon Sun and Moon moveset video. Today's video is going to be all about the title legendary Pokemon of Pokemon Sun, Solgaleo. So let's get started by taking a look at this Pokemon's typing, ability, and stats. So to start things off, Solgaleo is a new Psychic Steel-type Pokemon that possesses the ability known as Full Metal Body, which in name sounds like a new ability, but in practice is actually the exact same thing as Clear Body and White Smoke, and that it makes it so that your opponent cannot lower this Pokemon's stats by any means, whether it be through the use of an ability such as Intimidate, or through the use of a secondary effect of an attack, such as Shadow Ball's chance to lower special defense, that cannot occur due to the Full Metal Body ability. But for this Pokemon's stats, being a legendary Pokemon, it has some pretty great stats all around, with a base 137 HP stat, 107 defense stat, and a base 89 special defense stat, making this Pokemon fairly bulky, like most legendary Pokemon you would expect, but being more physically bulky than specially bulky for sure. On the offensive side of things, though, this Pokemon has a base 137 physical attack, which allows it to do a ton of damage with its physical moves, including its own signature Steel-type move in Sunsteel Strike, but it also has a really great base 113 special attack, allowing it to be pretty damaging from the special side as well. Finally, this Pokemon has a base 97 speed stat, which by standards of other legendary Pokemon is fairly slow, but still does not discourage this Pokemon from being a powerful offensive attacker for a team that you're using in the Ubers tier. But with that, let's take a look at the first moveset that I have for you in this video. So for this first moveset, we're going to begin by giving this Pokemon either a Jolly Nature to boost its speed but lower its special attack, or an Adamant Nature to increase its physical attack but lower its special attack. And then run an EV spread of 252 physical attack EVs, 4 special defense EVs, and 252 speed EVs to give it its maximum physical attack and speed possible. As to the item, there are quite a few options you can go with here to increase this Pokemon's effectiveness on the battlefield in a variety of ways. The first being a Choice Band to boost the power of all of your physical attacks, a Choice Scarf to boost your speed stat, a Life Orb to also boost your attack power, but to a lesser extent, while allowing you to switch up your moves freely at the cost of losing 10% of your health every time you damage your opponent, an Expert Belt to increase the damage of super effective attacks, an Assault Vest to boost this Pokemon's special defense, Leftovers to allow this Pokemon to recover a little bit of HP at the end of every turn, an Air Balloon to allow this Pokemon to levitate above the battlefield, basically allowing it to not be affected by ground-type moves, which it is weak to normally until the balloon pops, and then also running potentially a Z Crystal on this Pokemon to allow it to have a one-time use of a super powerful move of the type the Z Crystal would correspond to. But for the moves, the first one that we're going to go with on this moveset is going to be Sunsteel Strike, which is your signature Steel-type move of 100 base power on the physical side. Then we're also going to run a physical Psychic type move to make use of for its stabs in the form of Zen Headbutt. Thirdly, we're going to really need a coverage move to allow this Pokemon to effectively deal with Steel types that are so commonly seen in this tier, whether they're, somewhat non-legendary ones like you see of, Aegislash and Ferrothorn and things like that get brought up from like the other tiers, or, in the form of Dialga or Arceus Steel and things like that. So we're going to run either Flare Blitz or Earthquake to basically allow this Pokemon to hit those Pokemon super effectively in one way or another. And then for your last move slot, there are quite a few options to go with, really to just increase this Pokemon's effectiveness overall. And it's really going to vary depending upon the types of attacks that you want this Pokemon to be able to make use of and also damage super effectively. So again, Earthquake is included here, along with including now Stone Edge, Crunch, Wild Charge, Flame Charge as a way to not only give you another fire type move, but also to boost your speed, Thunder Wave to allow you to cripple an opposing attacker, or running Morning Sun on the set as well to allow this Pokemon to recover HP while also damaging things with his powerful physical moves. Keeping in mind though, in particular, a few of these attacks being very useful, Wild Charge in particular, allowing this Pokemon to have an easier time dealing with water types, and Crunch also being really effective because there are a ton of Psychic type Pokemon that exist in the Uber tier that you might want to have Crunch for coverage with. So do keep all these options in mind when using this Pokemon, as they all could be viable depending upon what types of Pokemon you want to hit super effectively in the Uber tier, or if you want to status things with Thunder Wave, or just recover your own health with Morning Sun. As for this next moveset, we're going to be utilizing Solgaleo as a special attacker. So we're going to start this one off by giving it either a Timid Nature to boost its speed but lower its physical attack, or a Modest Nature to boost its special attack but lower its physical attack. and then running an EV spread of 252 special attack EVs, 4 special defense EVs, and 252 speed EVs to give it its max special attack and speed possible. As for the item, pretty much all the ones from the previous set are included here, along with just switching out the choice band for a choice specs as its item to allow this Pokemon to increase the power of its special attacks considerably while being locked into a special attacking move. But for the moves on this set, the first one is going to be our main Steel type attack in the form of Flash Cannon, and then our main Psychic type move in the form of Psychic or Psyshock. As for your third attack, we're going to run a coverage option either in the form of Thunder or Fire Blast, and Thunder being particularly interesting and useful in the Uber tier just because of how common Kyogre can be. And just going for Thunder because that Pokemon is so common is a really good option as opposed to just going for the weaker option in Thunderbolt, because a lot of the time you're going to have the opportunity to make use of this move very effectively, and also the 30% chance to paralyze can be really useful. But Fire Blast is a great option to allow this Pokemon to hit Steel types super effectively, which is very important for this Pokemon as its Dual Stab is resisted by them. As for the last move on the set, we can either run Fire Blast here if you went with Thunder in the third move slot, or include Focus Blast, Flame Charge, which is also a way to boost your speed by a stage, and then also running the more utility options in Thunder Wave or Morning Sun for a status to cripple your opponent's speed, or to heal up your own HP in Morning Sun, to give this Pokemon some added utility and survivability on the battlefield. But overall, even though we're not making use of its stronger attack set on this moveset, it still is a very effective way to utilize Solgaleo's great offensive stats. As for this next moveset, we're going to be running a boosting physical attacking set for Solgaleo to make use of. So like the first set in this video, we're going to go with either a Jolly or Adamant Nature and the same EV spread as before, as well as using similar item choices. But the main reason why this set can function a little bit better than the other one is because we're able to boost our stats through a variety of different moves, all of which are listed in the last move slot on this set, which are Workup, Splash, Cosmic Power, and Sunny Day. Workup will give you a reliable way to boost your physical attack specifically, but also your special attack by one stage, whereas Splash, when used in combination with Normalium Z, will boost your physical attack by 3 stages, allowing this Pokemon to increase its attack stat very quickly. On the more defensive side of things, we could also make use of Cosmic Power to allow this Pokemon to boost its defenses by 1 stage, both your physical and special defense, each time you go for this move, thus making this Pokemon potentially incredibly bulky while also maximizing its attack stat. And lastly, we can make use of Sunny Day, not only as a way to set up Sun on the battlefield, but also to allow this Pokemon to boost its speed by 1 stage when used in combination with Furium Z, and thus allow it to be a little bit more of a threatening, speedy attacker on the battlefield. Before the moves, again, Sunsteel Strike and Zen Headbutt are going to be there to be your main stab, steel, and psychic type attacks. And then for your last move, or your third move slot technically, we're either going to run Flare Blitz, which could potentially also be boosted by Sunny Day, Earthquake, Crunch, Flame Charge, which could also make this kind of a double boosting set by boosting your speed, as well as boosting your attack power with the other moves or defense with Cosmic Power, or running Morning Sun on the set as well to make it a boosting attacker that makes use of its dual stab only, and also possibly being even more affected by using Sunny Day with the set, because Morning Sun will boost the recovery that you get from this move considerably to heal up 75% of your HP as opposed to the usual 50%. As for this next moveset, we're going to be running kind of a similar offensive boosting set, but for the special side of things. So like on the second moveset, we're going to go with a Timid or Modest Nature, and then the same EV spread that you saw before. But for the moves, this time we're going to go with either Calm Mind or Sunny Day to be the first move on the set and allow you to boost your stats. Calm Mind boosting your special attack and special defense by 1 stage, whereas Sunny Day will boost your speed by 1 stage, as well as set up the Sun when used in combination with the Furium Z item. But for the moves, again, we're going to go with our dual stab options in the form of Flash Cannon for your steel type stab, and Psychic or Psyshock in the form of your psychic type stab. And then for your last move slot, making use of either Fire Blast, Focus Blast, Solar Beam, Thunderbolt, Flame Charge, or Morning Sun. Fire Blast and Solar Beam being particularly effective when used in combination with Sunny Day, whereas if going with Flame Charge, you can also boost your speed by 1 stage if possibly used it with Calm Mind to turn this into kind of a double boosting set to make use of, whereas lastly also Morning Sun again can also increase its recovery as a result of having a Sunny Day on the battlefield. Now, in addition to running a more offensive, speedy attacking boosting set for the special side of things, you can also run a more bulky one. So to do this, we're going to start this set off by giving this Pokemon a bold nature to increase its physical defense, but lower its physical attack, and then run a bulky EV spread of 252 HP EVs, 252 defense EVs, and 4 speed EVs to give it its maximum physical bulk possible. As to the item, Leftovers is going to be the item of choice here to allow this Pokemon to recover HP at the end of every turn while it tries to set up with Calm Mind, which again, to make note of, will be boosting your special attack and your special defense by 1 stage every time you go for it. Then we're going to be running our dual stab options in the form of Flash Cannon and then Psychic or Psyshock for your Psychic type stab. And then for your last move slot, running either Fire Blast or Focus Blast for the Steel type coverage that you will desperately need for the set to function really well. And or running Substitute here to allow you to get behind a protective barrier to shield you from attacks and statuses while you attempt to set up with your Calm Minds, or potentially running Morning Sun to allow this Pokemon to have a reliable way to recover its health while it attempts to set up with Calm Minds. Now as for this last fully offensive set, we're actually going to be making use of Solgaleo under the effects of Trick Room, which might seem very strange considering that it has a base 97 speed stat, but in the Uber tier, that is actually pretty low and allows this Pokemon to actually effectively make use of Trick Room, which is pretty uncommon when you would consider, another 97 base speed Pokemon in another tier. But for its nature, we're going to go ahead and give it a Brave Nature to give it a increase to its physical attack but lower its speed stat, and then run a bulky offensive EV spread of 252 HP EVs, 252 physical attack EVs, and 4 speed EVs. And for the item on the set, you're going to either want to go with a Life Orb or a Z Crystal to correspond to one of the types of attacks that this Pokemon can use on this set. For the moves though, again, Trick Room, as I mentioned before, will be the main move of the set to allow this Pokemon to basically twist the dimensions and make it so that the slower Pokemon are actually the faster ones on the battlefield, thus allowing you to really take advantage of your bulk with the HP investment and the EV spread, and also, again, try to make this Pokemon as slow as possible with the Brave Nature, and if you can get it, 0 IVs into its speed stat. But for the moves, again, we're going to go with Sunsteel Strike and Zen Headbutt to be your main dual stab options, and then for coverage, running either Flare Blitz, Earthquake, or Crunch to allow this Pokemon to better deal with Steel types, or allow it to be effective against the plethora of other Psychic type Pokemon that exist within the Uber tier. Finally, for this last moveset, we're going to be making use of Solgaleo a little bit more defensively. So we're going to start this one off by giving it either an Impish or a Careful Nature, Impish to boost your physical defense but lower your special attack, whereas Careful will boost your special defense but lower your special attack. And then running either a fully physically defensive or fully specially defensive EV spread of 252 HP EVs, 252 defense or 252 special defense EVs, and then putting the remainder 4 EVs into its speed stat. And for the item on the set, since it's a little bit more supportive and utility-based, we're going to be making use of Leftovers to increase your survivability and allow it to recover some HP at the end of every turn. As for the moves, the first one that we're going to go is going to be either Thunder Wave as a way to paralyze your opponent, crippling their speed stat and making it so that they occasionally do not attack, or going with Metal Burst as a way to allow this Pokemon to tank a really powerful hit and dish that damage back at its opponents. And with our boosted defenses because of our EV spread and really high HP stat, this Pokemon can make use of this move pretty effectively. Moving on though, we can either run Sunsteel Strike or Iron Head to be your main Steel type move on this set. Iron Head being particularly noteworthy when used in combination with Thunder Wave because of its 30% chance to flinch opponents, and that coupled with Thunder Wave's chance to make your opponents not attack makes it very difficult for your opponent to even get a hit off on this thing, possibly netting it some free Leftovers recovery. And then for your third move slot, either running Zen Headbutt to give you a powerful Psychic type stab move to make use of, or giving it Crunch as a way to again allow this Pokemon a reliable way to deal with the plethora of Psychic type Pokemon that exist in the Uber tier. Finally, since this is a more defensive set, we're going to be running Morning Sun in this last move slot to give this Pokemon a reliable way to recover its HP and allow it to last for a long time and continue to tank hits and damage things throughout the battle. But anyways, everybody, that is it for this video on Solgaleo, the title legendary Pokemon of Pokemon Sun. So as always, everyone, until next time, take care and goodbye.